and it will go away. It will transform more into the energy of your acceleration forward. It will move you forward faster and give you the ability to move forward faster, which will translate in more mobility, physically, more physical expression. But if you need to hold on to the pain, because that is your best defense, then that will stay there for you. Mm-hmm. So, our suggestion, we cannot tell you what to do, but in terms of describing what we perceive to be the mechanics of your circumstance, our suggestion would be to let go of the litigation. Because you have a vested interest in maintaining disability in order to be compensated by someone else. Once you understand that the full expression of yourself will supply you with whatever abundance you need, then you can move forward, you will be supplied with whatever abundance you need, and you will not have to hang on to the issue of being compensated by someone else for circumstances that you attracted in your life to get you where you are now, to realize the very thing we are talking about.
Mm-hmm. I just want to share
Go
with
ahead,
people,
and then we will talk about something else.
Okay. I want to share with everyone that there was almost immediately an internal compensation.
Yes.
The feeling of the clarity and the light
Yes.
that has come from this.
Well, yes. Well, walking through what you call the door of death, the door of transformation, is a very accelerating and clarifying process, and one that really allows you to live in the moment. Because if you won't live in the moment any other way, sometimes you will force yourself into circumstances like that, because then you absolutely guarantee beyond a shadow of a doubt that you'll be living in the moment.
Yeah. And
that is why the entire perception and the entire phrase of your life flashing before your eyes came up. Because you are so, at that moment, fully living in the present that your entire life is actually existent in that one moment. Because there is no other time for your life to exist in, but right here, right now. That's why that phenomena happens. You become absolutely holographic at that moment. So of course you're going to be left with a residual clarity. When you reconnect into the time frame, you will not reconnect in the same manner unless you choose to hold on to some of the old patterns, as you are suggesting you are doing. Now,
well, the main purpose for this conversation is that what I'm coming up against right now is...
Against? More conflict?
Yes.
All right.
It seems like I've always had a lot of trouble being grounded and being earthed. I tend to prefer to be in the spiritual realms.
Oh, I understand exactly what you are saying.
My boyfriend
Yes.
is very grounded, and he has been a teacher, and he
Well,
mirrors back to me
All right.
sometimes why I'm not getting to do what I
Then
want
you are
to do.
serving each other in that way.
And he mentioned at the weekend that I'm missing some of the stepping stones of the earth.
You're not really missing the stepping stones, but you are not allowing yourself to see what is there. You have them, but you don't see them. The first and most obvious one is that obviously you chose to be born on earth.
Mm-hmm.
Therefore, since you now know that that was an actual conscious choice, you can also see that your preference to the idea of spirituality is to some degree balanced by your preference to be born physically on earth. So that in that sense, you did choose to be grounded in that way. And see the idea of spirituality through those eyes, through that perspective. So you can start to look at it from that direction to begin with.
Mm-hmm.
You don't have to think of yourself as groundless.
Was that the reason why I landed in the rocks?
To some degree. To some degree. The idea also can be to recognize and remember that you are still making, perhaps because of a belief system that you were taught, you're still making a differentiation between physical and spiritual reality as if they really are two completely different things that have nothing to do with each other. physical reality is just as spiritual as any level of reality, because it is made of spirit. Remember that your spirit does not actually inhabit, mechanically speaking, your physical body. Your physical body is your spirit in physical terminology. So, being physical doesn't mean you're not spiritual.
All right, I understand. I've been...
All right. Then allow yourself to begin with to soften the definition that there is a major difference between being physical and exploring spirituality, because there really isn't as much of a difference as you think or have been taught to think. Therefore, you may find that when you remove that definitional difference, more things in physiological nature will seem more spiritual to you and will entice you in a spiritual way to become involved with nature more closely, and that will automatically balance and ground you. Because you will start to see physical reality as just as spiritual as anything. And paradoxically, when you accelerate through your point of view physical reality to be more spiritual, then you exist in a reality that is vibrationally closer to the type of levels of spirituality you say you actually prefer. And it makes it easier to experience both types, because the whole idea is to meet it halfway, not to leave where you obviously chose to be and vacate the premises, because you chose to be where you are for a reason. And one of the main reasons that all of you have chosen, especially now in this transformational life, is to accelerate and uplift the vibration of physical reality so that you understand physical reality is one of the spiritual levels. Allow that reality to be more like the non-physical spiritual levels, and then blend the two so that there really isn't as much of a difference. That's the whole purpose. It's not the idea of running away from earth to seek heaven. It's the idea of creating heaven on earth. That's why you're all choosing to be born physically on earth. But you always, as you have already suggested, attract whatever balancing ideas you need, such as your boyfriend. Trust that you do know what you're doing. Don't focus on the negative ideas of what you think you're looking for. Where you are is what you need to learn about yourself and what can represent a place of peace. Even if you don't prefer it, where you are, exploring where you are, will give you the information you need. Now, aside from the whole issue of just letting go of past ideas that would allow you to hold on to the pain, you can also assist yourself through what you may call a meditation. The one that we have shared that is called the blue-white light technique. Are you familiar with it?
Yes.
Infuse yourself with a blue, jelly-like substance in the areas of greatest pain. Feel that that blue, jelly-like substance actually acts as a lubricant for all of your hard bones and connective areas, and as a sheath for all of your nerve areas, so that the entire interaction is synergistic, is one environment enveloped in the blue gel. Feel it infuse itself into every cell where you have pain, and allow it to dissolve. And stop thinking in terms of structures, of separate parts. Think as a whole, a fluid whole, and relax. Does this assist you?
Yes, it does. Can I ask one? No?
Yes. Yes, yes.
My boyfriend, I was supposed to ask, he has problems when he's driving. He gets dizzy and like blacks out, and I wanted to ask if you could assist me in the reason why this is happening.
What we can suggest is that you use the technique if you wish, center and balance yourself, When you are in that state, before you go into what you call dream time, sleep time, focus on the idea of the strong magnetic energy of your boyfriend. See the idea of the black hole, the central vortex of magnetism, and allow yourself telepathically to remind him that a black hole, a blackness, a void, or what appears to be a void, is not empty and actually contains 99% of all reality. That there is light within the blackness. Mm-hmm. Send that as you are in a balanced state 3 nights in a row. See if that begins to allow him to relax enough to receive assistance from his guides, for they can be of best